from the nooks and crannies of this nation. OSBC brings you the news. News across the country.
A pleasant evening to you there, and you welcome to the news across the country. I am Adeniji Kende. Bakari Salah to our Muslim brothers and sisters out there. Federal government tax adherents of Islamic faiths on peaceful coexistence and national unity. Oyetola admonishes political elite to uphold peaceful conduct of Osun gubernatorial election. 16 declared missing as boat capsizes in Lagos. Now, news in full. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) has felicitated with the Muslim faithful on the joyous occasion of this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. Secretary to the Government of the Federation (SGF), Mr. Boss Mustafa, made this known today in Abuja. Mr. Mustafa, on behalf of the Executive Council members, advised Muslim faithful to use the opportunity of the celebration to continue to reflect on love, obedience, sacrifice, and compassion, among others. FEC implores adherents of Islamic faith to use the opportunity to continue to reflect on its lessons, which include love, obedience, sacrifice, and compassion, among others. Members of the Federal Executive Council also implored believers to continue to promote national unity, peaceful coexistence for stability in order to enhance growth and development in lost sectors of the nation's economy. Governor Adegoye Oyetola has admonished political elites in the state of Osun to conduct themselves peacefully in the forthcoming gubernatorial election. The governor gave the admonition in Osogbo, the state capital, shortly after observing Eid prayer in commemoration of this year Eid al-Kabir. Governor's office correspondent Sonya Onoride has more.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Governor Adegoye Oyetola joined Islamic faithful across the world at Osogbo Central Eid Praying Ground to mark this year Eid al-Kabir prayer, speaking after observing the mandatory Eid prayer along Ibokon Osogbo Road, Osogbo, the state capital. Governor Oyetola admonished adherents to demonstrate acts of genuine sacrifice and submission to the will of Allah. The governor also cautioned political elites to conduct themselves peacefully in the forthcoming gubernatorial election, adding that elections should not be a do-or-die affair, but a democratic process in electing a leader.
My message to the people is that we should always be grateful to God. We should always ensure we keep promises that we make. The essence of this Eid al-Kabir is the question of making sure that you promise, whatever promise you make, you fulfill it. I want to enjoy our people to please ensure that the election that is coming up is peaceful. We should not engage in any violence. Election is not a do-or-die affair. So our state is known for peace. I want the peace to be maintained.
A theme re-echoed by the senator representing Osun Central Senatorial District, Senator Ajibola Bashir.
The election of anybody is not worth the spilling of blood of anybody. So we want everybody to be peaceful and go and play by the rules and ensure that the election is free, fair and transparent.
In a sermon, Chief Imam of Osogbo, Sheikh Musa Animashaun, reminded Islamic faithful that heaven remains a final destination for all, which must constantly guide the conduct of human beings, irrespective of wealth, position, and comfort, adding that life is nothing but a short time to live. Alhaji Animashaun implore the politicians to play the game by the rule, ensuring coexistence before, during, and after the forthcoming gubernatorial election, urging the eligible voters not to sell their votes, but vote with their conscience for the progress and developments of the state. Eid al-Kabir represents a symbolic obedience on the part of Prophet Ibrahim in fulfilling his promise to Allah on Ismail, but substituted with Ram, that is being celebrated by the Islamic faithful annually. From the governor's office, Sonya Onoride reporting.
In the meantime, Osun State Deputy Governor Mr. Benedict Alabi has felicitated with the Muslims around the world on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Kabir. He stressed that the exemplary attribute of obedience and selflessness displayed by Prophet Ibrahim should be a guiding principle for every Muslim and the people of other faiths. The Deputy Governor, who rejoiced with all Muslims around the world and the state in particular on the occasion of high spiritual significance, prayed God to reward their faith in Him bountifully. Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Oweye, has called on the people and Nigerians to intensify prayers for the peace and stability of the country ahead of Osun 2022 and the 2023 general elections. Honorable Oweye, in a salam message in Osogbo by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Kunle Alabi, stressed the need for intensive prayers. The Speaker, while congratulating Muslim faithful on the occasion of Eid al-Kabir, said Nigerians should strive to create an atmosphere of peace and sustain harmonious coexistence. He enjoined Muslims and people of other faiths in the state to imbibe the spirit of sacrifice, which is the symbol of the Kabir celebration, saying the import of this festival period remains our collective ability to live in peace. Senator Ajibola Bashir of Osun Central Senatorial District has urged the Muslim in the Senatorial District to use the time of Eid al-Kabir to pray for an enduring peace in the world. In his congratulatory message on this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration, Senator Bashir observed that the world more than ever before needs peace and God's benediction, given a series of human and natural disasters bedeviling the world. The Senator also used the occasion to appeal to the people of the state generally to pray for a peaceful conduct of the coming governorship election in the state, to see to the return of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola to office on the 16th of this month. Senator Ajibola Bashir urged Muslims to let patience and hope in God, which Eid al-Kabir represents, reflect in them as they celebrate. Leaders in all strata of the Nigerian polity have been urged to desist from making remarks capable of causing crisis in all communities and the nation at large. A business mogul and Asiwaju Muslimi of Yoruba land, Edo and Delta, Dr. Kamis Olatunde Badmus, gave the admonition in his message in commemoration of this year's Eid al-Adha celebrations. Dr. Olatunde Badmus said millions of followers of those in various positions of authority tend to do whatever their leaders ask them to do, hence the need for those leading to be conscious in speech, action, and their conduct. He said patience, resilience, and obedience to the Almighty Allah, as exhibited by Prophet Ibrahim and his son, Prophet Ismail, are virtues that all Nigerians should embrace for the nation to witness peace and progress. Asiwaju Badmus asks both the youth and the elderly have fear of Allah and respect fellow human beings, adding that with these two virtues, killings, hatred, injustice, and greed will be reduced and love will boom. Dr. Olatunde Badmus called on the electorate in Osun State to be peaceful and orderly while casting their votes during the state next Saturday's gubernatorial election. Adherents of Islamic faith across the globe continue to bask in the furor of the celebration of the feats of sacrifice. They have been admonished to imbibe spirit of sharing whatever they have with one another. An Islamic scholar, Abdul Kabir Adepoju, who gave the admonition in his Salah message, enjoined residents in the state of Osun to shun violence tendencies as the 2022 Osun governorship election approaches. Adeyemi Aboderi as the report.
Today marked the celebration of the Feast of Sacrifice in the Islamic faith, otherwise known as Eid al-Kabir, when Muslim faithfuls across the world thronged to Eid prayer to offer sacrifice of unblemished lamb to Almighty Allah for substituting it with a human sacrifice. As usual, the 2 Raka prayers were observed at various praying grounds visited by OSBC news crew in Osogbo, the state capital. At the Ayatollah Islamic Society praying ground, Kobakwe Estate, Osogbo, Sheikh Abdullahi Adepoju Ayatollah enjoined Islamic faithful to continue to imbibe the lesson of patience, perseverance, love, and sharing with the less privileged and the have-not, as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim while celebrating the festival. Sheikh Adepoju Ayatollah, who advised residents of the state to shun violent tendencies that could negatively affect the outcome of the 2022 governorship election, which holds in a week's time, charged security agencies to up their game and nip whatever evil that could mar the Guba pole in the bud.
Brother Islam, to understand Islam, that you have to be patient, you have to be orderly, especially do not follow step of the Satan.
Sheikh Adepoju Ayatollah enjoined everyone to continue to be prayerful for a peaceful celebration and election. In the words of Imam Ibrahim Mota, who led the prayer session at Okeayepe Oshogbo, while advising Muslims to continue to exhibit the fear of Allah, noted that the feast of sacrifice is not about merrymaking alone, but imbibing lessons inherent in the celebration. Imam Mota enjoined residents of the state not to set their conscience as the Osun 2022 Guba poll approaches. Meanwhile, residents of the state have been assured of adequate security of their lives and property as the Osun 2022 Guba poll draws nearer. Corps Commander Osun Amotekun Corps General Bashir Adewimbi disclosed this while interacting with OSBC News Crew. The retired Army top brass said necessary measures have been put in place before, during, and after the Guba poll in collaboration with other security agencies to ensure a peaceful atmosphere.
As the Corps Commander of Amatekun, we have put necessary security architectures in place to make sure there is going to be peaceful celebration.
General Adewimbi, who disclosed that the Amatekun Corps is not partisan, appealed to all to be calm and peaceful. For OSBC News, Adeyemi Aboderin reporting.
As Muslims celebrated the Kabir, the Elerimo of Erimo Jesha, Oba Michael Odunwayo Ajayi Arutawada II has called on them to always strive to conduct their daily lives in accordance with the clear and beneficial message of the occasion. Oba Arutawada gave the advice in his message on the celebration of Eid al-Kabir festival, describing the celebration as a symbol of Allah's magnificent blessings and abiding love for humankind. The royal father said Eid al-Kabir reminds Muslims to place their faith in the compassion and wisdom of Allah and to be obedient to his instructions as demonstrated by Prophet Ibrahim. Implored Muslims to rededicate themselves to greater adherence to the spiritual enriching command of Almighty Allah and show the true spirit of Islam in their endeavors. Two chieftains of All Progressive Congress APC in the state of Osun, Dr. Lashid Yolamiju and Dr. Tunde Falaye, have felicitated with Governor Adegboyega Oyetola and the entire Muslims in the state on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Kabir. Dr. Olamiju and Dr. Falaye, who noted that peaceful coexistence among adherents of various religions in the state, implored them to further demonstrate such beyond Eid al-Kabir period. The governor aide, Dr. Olamiju, and the managing director of Omoluabi Holdings Limited, Dr. Falaye, called on the wealthy to remember the less privileged and assist them accordingly. While praying Allah for more celebration, the two Ijesha-born politicians urged individuals to celebrate Eid al-Kabir with utmost moderation. Beneficiaries of Osun free train service have been charged to reciprocate the good gesture of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola by ensuring that he is re-elected for second term to continue his people's-oriented programs. The Commissioner for Commerce, Industry, Cooperative and Empowerment, Dr. Bode Olaonipekun, who gave the charge while welcoming the beneficiaries who arrived Oshogbo for the Eid al-Kabir celebration, spoke on the need for the Nigerian Railway Corporation to improve on its service delivery for the betterment of the people. Our reporter, Oluchi Amuda, completes the story.
The coaches of the train were filled to capacity as holiday makers took advantage of the free train service offered by the Adegbeyega Oyetola administration to travel all the way from Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, as well as other neighboring towns to celebrate the Eid al-Kabir with their loved ones. While welcoming the beneficiaries of the Osun free train service, Commissioner for Commerce, Industry, Cooperative and Empowerment, Dr. Bode Olaonupekun, who stated that to whom much is given, much is equally expected, charged the beneficiaries to vote in Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola for second term for the continuity of his people's-oriented programs.
Alhaji Gboyega Oyetola to continue in office, to accomplish and consolidate on all the good foundational work that we have begun is very important, and we need their support. And the only support that they can give at this point in time is their votes.
Dr. Olaonupekun, who was accompanied by one of the directors of the ministry, Mrs. Ajibola Falode, spoke on the partnership between the Osun State government and the Nigerian Railway Corporation, adding that there is need for the corporation to review its mode of operation in terms of provision of quality coaches and functional train engines for effective service delivery.
We implore Nigerian Railway to do better than what we are getting from them now as a valued customer.
Some of the passengers of the free train service who spoke in separate interviews with OSBC News, including Mr. Abdulateef Oyedeji, Mrs. Kudirat Oluokun, and Mr. Olasukomi, commended Governor Oyetola for sustaining the program, which he noted has helped in providing succor to families living outside Osun State to celebrate festivities with their loved ones, despite the present economic reality. They promised to ensure the continuity of the Oyetola administration through the power of the ballots.
I pray for him, but for his second time, we must make it.
I'm living at Lagos, but I know that I'm voting here. It's the purpose of the voting, that's why I'm here.
I'm from Lagos. So, yeah, the journey is fine.
The free train is expected to depart from Osogbo to Lagos on Tuesday next week. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
This is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Iliawiye Okebale Oshubo, Voice of the West. Now a mid-news message. Endeavor to exercise caution as festivities rend the air, and let moderation be your watchword. Special Advisor to Osun State Governor on Political Matters, Oluomo Sunday Okere, has called on the electorate in the state not to sell their votes and conscience as the state prepares for the gubernatorial election bill for next Saturday. Oluomo Okere, who gave the advice today while exchanging views with OSBC News, maintained that the state deserves the best politically in times like these. Implored the electorate to vote according to their conscience, stressing that the state government will guarantee the security of the citizenry. Oluomo Okere urged them to assess the candidate of their choice vividly according to their conscience and let their vote count for the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. The Directorate of Media and Communication of the Campaign Council of Re-election of Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola implored individuals of the state not to entertain any fear, intimidation, or molestation from any quarters, stressing that all and sundry should exhibit Omoluabi ethos the state is known for across the globe. Oluomo Okere, however, felicitates with adherents of Islamic faith on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Kabir, otherwise known as Eid al-Adha, stressing that they should let moderation be their watchword while celebrating. Traditional rulers and residents of Ife South local government areas of the state have asserted that they were unwavering in their resolve towards the re-election of Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola in the forthcoming gubernatorial election in sustaining the tempo of developmental transformation unfolding across the state. The committee leaders made a clear declaration in Ife-Tedo during Governor Oyetola's campaign tour to the area. Governor's office correspondent Sonya Onoride is standing by with the rest of the story.
Communities in Ife South local government area of the state of Osun, including Ayoba, Garajolode, Ife-Tedo, among others, burst over as the campaign train of Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola called on the residents of the areas to solicit support for the re-election of Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola in the forthcoming gubernatorial election, speaking after receiving the symbolic royal blessings from Olubosin of Ife-Tedo. Governor Adegbeyega Oyetola reassured the traditional rulers and chiefs in the area of his focus towards taking the state onto an enviable pedestal in the nearest future through infrastructural developments as well as welfare policies and robust economy. Oba Akinola Oyetade Akinrera, flanked by traditional rulers and chiefs in the area, while commending Governor Oyetola for the incredible feat recorded across the state, maintained that residents are unwavering in their resolve in ensuring the re-election of Governor Oyetola in the forthcoming gubernatorial election. At Oritameri Ifetedo, the governor disclosed that more developmental projects and welfare packages were in the pipeline if re-elected in the forthcoming gubernatorial election. He therefore urged the eligible voters to pick up their permanent voters card and be sensitive and vigilant on the e-voting process in delivering landslide victory at the poll. The Director General of Oyetola's campaign council, Senator Ajibola Bashir, said that it is imperative to elect a tested administrator personified in Governor Oyetola than someone who is likely to derail the wheel of progress and developments currently shaping through Osun landscape. Dignitaries on the campaign train with the governor were the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, the deputy governor, Mr. Benedict Alabi, the wife of the deputy governor, Mrs. Oyefunke Alabi, former deputy governor, Mrs. Titila Oyeponle, leadership and members of the All Progressive Congress from across the state. From the governor's office, Sanya Onoide reporting.
In the meantime, landlords of Ifesuwapo community Okeoniti in Osogbo have thrown their weight behind Governor Adegboyega Oyetola re-election for second term in respect of his monumental achievements in the area of rehabilitation and construction of roads in all the nooks and crannies of the state. The chairman of the association, Ajewole Akamu, made the remark during a community engagement meeting with the special advisor on civic engagement, Honorable Olatubosun Oyintiloye, on how prepared they are for the gubernatorial election coming on the 16th of this month. Our reporter, David Ojo, who was at the meeting, completes the story.
This was a song rendered by the market men and women of Anaye Okeoniti in Olorunda local government area of the state. The Yaloja Onifade Ganiya and Babaloja Elekede Ganiyu of the market applauded the programs and policies of present administration, assuring Governor Oyetola of absolute support for his re-election come July 16, 2022. The duo appreciated the governor for fighting for the cause of the masses in the areas of empowerment programs across the state, soft loans for market men and women, and all the infrastructural development embarked upon by his administration. Speaking at the market square, the special advisor to the governor on civic engagement, Honorable Olatubosun Oyintiloye, commended the effort of all the market men and women for their loyalty and support for the present administration. The former lawmaker said the purpose of his visit is to sensitize them on how to vote during the election day. Honorable Oyintiloye said their permanent voter cards is their power and should be used judiciously for Governor Oyetola.
I have persuaded that they should vote for the incumbent governor because he has what it takes to sustain the performance and the added value he has been doing in the last 4 years.
He appealed to the market men and women to vote for Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, who has continued to turn the fortune of the state to be the best in the southwest of Nigeria. This is David Ojo reporting for OSBC News.
Beneficiaries of the free integrated medical and surgical outreach program in Osun State have lauded Governor Adegboyega Oyetola for making the health of the citizenry is major concern even from the grassroots level. Omotayo Adebodun has the details.
Osun State Primary Healthcare organized a free health, medical and surgical outreach program in the state. In Ilesha West Local Government, Oriade Local Government and Ife Central, which cut across immunization, COVID-19 vaccines, health talk and free surgeries. Tests were conducted to ascertain the health conditions of the beneficiaries. Other services included general surgery, free medical examination, distribution of drugs, counseling and awareness talk, blood sugar level check, among others. In their separate interviews, the medical officers of health of the Primary Health Care Center of Okenyi, Ilesha, Ijebu-Jesha and Aderemi in Ile-Ife, Dr. Adelani Alabi, Dr. Moses Adeniran and Dr. S.A. Olaoye all lauded the state government for giving attention to the health sector. They further clarified that those who have been booked for medical surgery will be attended to after the Health Cabri celebration.
In Asia today, the turnout is tremendous. People have put out very much. They have come to seek services. We have drugs, we have system of intervention, we have blood sugar check, we have malaria parasite check. We have other booking for surgeries that we done after the Sabbath celebrations.
We have to give kudos to our governor, Alhaji Oyetola, for the contribution of the health priority of our people in the rural area. We really appreciate it.
We have been attending to them since morning, so most of them they have benefited from the and we have both medical and surgical cases registering.
Immunization and COVID-19 outreach continues in all local governments, while the free integrated medical and surgical outreach continues till Friday in respective cluster local governments. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
Osun State Governor Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola has enjoined the 2021 Batch B Stream 1 Corps member to always make use of the training garnered in the course of their service in the last 1 year with avowed determination to move the country forward. Governor Oyetola stated this at the passing out ceremony held at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp, Ede. OSBC reporter Oluchi Amuda completes the story.
In his farewell address, after inspecting the Qatar Guard, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, who congratulated the outgoing Corps members on the successful completion of their service year, saluted the courage, enthusiasm, and doggedness exhibited throughout the 1-year service to the nation in Osun State. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, charged them to continue to radiate the capability and readiness to put in their best for the nation. Prince Oyebamiji, who was accompanied by the Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Mr. Yemi Lawal, equally enjoined them to always make use of the trainings by respecting the culture, tradition, and religion of others, and always strive to live peacefully among others, as they have done in the state.
Sustainable development finds meaning only in a stable polity, and you, as tomorrow's leaders, have a central role to play in enabling us to achieve our vision of a stronger, more secure, stable, and prosperous nation.
In her introductory address, the state coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps, Mrs. Olayinka Abdul-Wahab, who noted that 3,068 Corps members passed out of the orientation camp with 8 abscondees and 5 extension, encouraged the youth to inculcate the tradition of discipline, hard work, and self-reliance they have learned. She implored them to stand out, never compromise, and always remember that there are no shortcuts on the road to success. Mrs. Abdul-Wahab urged them to cultivate the skills they have acquired in the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development class, just as she added that the current situation in the country demands that they put into use creative thinking and individual initiative and not search for non-existent white-collar jobs.
Focus more on self-employment. Resolve in your mind to try your hands on productive ventures as a means to earning a decent living in the society, thereby contributing to the economic growth of the nation.
The event climaxed with the presentation of NYSC discharge certificate to the outgoing Corps members, who in turn appreciated the governor with 3 hearty cheers. Oluchi Amuda.
No fewer than 16 passengers have reportedly missing following a boat mishap that occurred today along Ojo area of Lagos State. The Lagos State Waterway Authority in a statement said the boat took off from Mile 2 and was heading to Ibeche in Ojo axis. According to the statement, Lagos State Waterways Authority and National Inland Waterways Authority received a distress call on a boat mishap on the waterways. And that was the news across the country. Edited by Adeniyi Kende. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcengine.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
Ọ̀kan ṣoṣo àjànàkú tí mi gbó kìjikìji 104.5.